Hello Booktube, what's up? My name is Juan. I am just one reader and I am here with the mid-year book Freakout tag for the first half of 2017. So the first question is, what is the best book that you've read so far this year? And right now I would have to give it to The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz. This was a winner of the Pulitzer Prize and it truly is a remarkable, beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful book. Loved it. And I gave it 5 stars, obviously. Then the second question is, what is the best sequel that you've read so far this year? And the only sequel I think that I've read was The Labyrinth of Spirits. This is the fourth and last book in the Cemetery of Forgotten Books, and it was my least favorite in the series, but I still gave it 3 stars, and I really enjoyed revisiting this world and these characters. Question 3, new release that you haven't read yet but want to. I would probably say Idaho by Emily Ruskovich. Question 4, the most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and this would have to be The Book of Dust by Philip Pullman, which is coming in October, right around my birthday, and I cannot be more excited. I really couldn't. Number 5, what has been your biggest disappointment? I would have to mention A Life in Parts by Bryan Cranston, not because the book itself was bad, but it did let me down because I was just expecting, or I wanted more from Breaking Bad, things related to Breaking Bad, and it focused on a variety of stuff, not just Breaking Bad. So yeah, I sort of wished there had been more Breaking Bad magic in there. Question 6, what has been your biggest surprise this year? I think my biggest surprise has been the anthology of the best American short stories of 2014. This was edited by Jennifer Egan, and I say this was my biggest surprise, or it has been my biggest surprise so far this year, because I never read as many short stories as I think I should. I love short stories, and every time I read a good collection or anthology such as this one, I am just reminded of, Juan, you should read more short stories. You should. You really should. You love reading these. But I never do. I never read as many as I should, at least, or as I would love to. And this was such a big surprise because this was a pretty chunky collection anthology. It had about 20 short stories, more or less, and pretty much all of them were above average. Like, they were really good, and there were some gems in here that I was just blown away by. Keep tuned for a separate review that I'm gonna make of this anthology, and in that video I'm gonna mention the highlights. So if you're interested in short stories, look out for that video. The next question is question number 7. What is your favorite new author? It can be an author that made their debut this year, or just an author that you had never read before and is new to you. And I chose a Latin American author, Samantha Schweblin. I had never really heard of her. She is Argentinian, so she's close to Mexico, kind of. And I really loved this book, Fever Dream, by her. Actually, I loved it so much, it really inspired me to write a dissertation paper on psychoanalysis, and there's a central concept that she talks about in this book called how does she call it? The rescue distance, which is the distance between a mother and her child, that the mother always needs to be aware of what's the distance between herself and her child, just in case there's something bad that happens to the child and the mother can go and rescue the child. And this was such an interesting concept that I decided to write a paper on it and on magical realism. So yeah, really loved Samantha Schweblin, and I'm looking forward to reading more of her work. Question 8, newest fictional crush? I have none. Question 9, your newest favorite character? This was tricky, but I've decided on The Unseen World by Liz Moore. There's 3 characters, many characters in here that I just adored, but in particular David, Liston, and Ada. Those 3 characters I just completely loved. Then Question 10, a book that made you cry. Again, The Unseen World by Liz Moore. If you watch my review for this one, I was crying. Question 12, no, question 11, a book that made you happy. A book that made me happy in a weird way was The Blue Girl by Lori Foos. It's a very creepy, chilling, strange, weird, dark book, but I was so happy when I read it because it was so special and so well done, and I loved it so much that I was really happy because it pulled me out of a reading slump and it completely sort of invigorated my reading fuzzies. So I just loved it. Question 12. Favorite book to film adaptation that you've seen this year? I saw last weekend. I saw a movie. It's a French Canadian movie called Un sac de billets. I don't know what the title is in English. And I have never read the book, but I do know that it's based on a memoir, and I really loved it. It was kind of those World War II stories about survival and fraternity and brotherhood, and it was really, really touching. Really loved that. Question 13. Your favorite review that you have filmed this year? Actually, I really enjoy making funny, goofy, stupid videos in which I sing and I just make a complete fool of myself. And so I love the videos in which I sing. The Wicked book tag, the Hamilton book tag, the Broadway book tag, the musicals book tag, all of those videos, which I know are not the most popular content on my channel, but I really enjoy making them. And I'm probably gonna keep doing them just, for my own pleasure. And question 14, what are the most beautiful books that you have got or received this year? I have a couple. Little Nothing by Marissa Silver, just what a gorgeously published book. Really spectacular. Of course, no video could be complete without talking about this cover, the Essex Serpent. We know how beautiful it is. It actually is as beautiful as everyone says it is. And the other one that I have that is really beautiful is Human Acts by Hen Kang. And last question, 15, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I have a couple. I have many, really, but if I had to say 3 books that I need to read, I would say My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier, because I've been getting very excited for this and for the movie. And The Clay Girl by Heather Tucker, which I'm very intrigued by. And yet again, The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry, because I cannot believe that I have this beautiful bad boy in my shelf and I have not read it. So there you go. That was the mid-year book Freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the comments down below. And now I'm heading to work.